It's recording.
You're recording? Okay, let's begin. Last week I wasn't here. I'll tell you why maybe towards the end of this year. But Parshas Peqoudei. Let's start with Parshas Peqoudei, then we'll get into Parshas Vayikra. On Parshas Peqoudei, there's a very interesting observation in the Otzer Pelos HaTorah from the Chizkuni. It says, Es ha-menorah ha-tahora, the pure menorah. Tahor means pure, not holy, pure. So the Chizkuni says, of all the kelim, all the vessels in the Beit HaMikdash, you have an Aron Kodesh, you had a menorah, you had a shulchan, you had a mizbeach, you had a kior where you wash your hands. Which ones are called tahor, pure?
Menorahs.
So the menorah is one. What would you say? There's one more. Which one would you say?
The Holy of Holies?
The Aron, you would say.
Yeah.
The answer is no, not the Aron. No. The answer is that in Parshas Emor, it says that the Samta Oso Shtayim Arochas, you make 2 rows, Sheish HaMa'arochas al Shulchan HaTahor, on the holy Shulchan. So the 2 that are called pure or holy is the menorah and the Shulchan. Not the Aron, not the Kior, not the Mizbeach. And the Chizkuni says an amazing answer. He says because all the other ones, blood was sprinkled on it. On the Mizbeach, you put korbanot. On the inside Mizbeach, you sprinkled the dam. On the Aron, towards the Aron, you sprinkled the blood, especially on Yom Kippur. On the Kior, they used to wash their hands if it got blood, and they would use the water of the Kior for the Sota, which, if she died, was spilled blood. So the Kior had blood. He says anything that came in contact with blood was no longer called pure. You know, it's interesting. David HaMelech wanted to build the Beit HaMikdash.
The Shulchan is stays.
The Shulchan just had the bread.
Oh, yeah.
And the menorah just had the candles.
Okay.
They say that David HaMelech wanted to build the Beit HaMikdash. Hashem said, no, why not? You spilled blood. You were a warrior. David said, I spilled blood. I'm not a murderer. If I fought war, it was to protect Israel. It was Milchemet Mitzvah. It was for a good reason. Hashem says, I agree with you. You're a servant, you're a loyal servant, you're going to get a wonderful share in Olam Haba. But you cannot build a Beit HaMikdash. That means one is not a contradiction. I understand. You're a holy person, you're a special person. And nothing you do, I'm not going to hold it against you, and you're going to get a wonderful share in Olam Haba. But still, you could not build the Beit HaMikdash. In the Mishkan, it says, there's a pasuk that says as follows. Minat cheles v'argomon v'talas hashani, from the purple and the blue and the red and everything else. Osu bigdei sarod. They made clothes of sarad. Now sarad is a Hebrew term, but nobody knows what those clothes of sarad were. What were those bigdei sarad? So the Ramban says that bigdei sarad is another way of saying the clothes of the Kohanim. Bigdei sarad means royal clothes. Who in the Beit HaMikdash wore royal clothes?
Kohen.
The Kohen. That's all. So it's just another way of referring to the Kohen's clothes as the royal clothes. Okay. Rashi says a totally different answer. Rashi says, you know what the Bigdei sarad were? They were like canvas coverings. When they traveled in the desert, they broke the Mishkan down, and they carried the Aron, they carried the Shulchan. Did they cover these, or they carried them open?
No.
Logic says
Covered.
they covered. They put the Aron, it's ready to travel. They were afraid someone might come and touch it, look, stare at it, so they used to put a covering over it. What were those coverings called? Bigdei sarad. So the Bigdei sarad were like a tarp. A tarp is an English word that means a cover that you cover things with. So that's what Rashi says. Rashi says that it was lechasos, to cover the klei hamishkan. The Chasam Sofer has a different answer entirely. And it's interesting how these different commentaries have different answers. The Chasam Sofer says, in the Beit HaMikdash, who was there every day doing a service? Let's look. You pretend I transport you back a few thousand years. It's now the Beit HaMikdash. You walk in. You see Kohanim. Well, they have their clothes. We know they have a uniform. Their clothes is their uniform. Who else is in the Beit HaMikdash compound?
Ladies?
The Levies. Now, either they're playing musical instruments and singing songs, or they're opening and closing doors, or they're guiding you, go this way, go that way. There are many Levim. What did the Levi wear? The Kohen, we know what he wore. The Kohen Gadol, we know what he wore. But you had other people that did service in the Mishkan Beit HaMikdash area, the Levi. Now, many of them were farmers. What do you think? They came in jeans. They came in a t-shirt. How did they come dressed? They had to wear some type of dress that all of them dressed the same.
White?
Whatever it was. It might have been white or green or blue or whatever. That was the big Disrod.
Oh.
That's what the Chassam Sofer says. The Chassam Sofer says that the big day Surot were the clothes that the Levi wore. And it might have been a type of dark black pants that everybody wore the same. And it might have been a type of white shirt. All the Levies wore the same. So when you came in, you knew right away who the Levies were. Because there were 50 people all dressed the same way. And that was special clothes. When they left, they would go to their locker, they would put their clothes in the locker, and they would get in their street clothes, and they would leave. They didn't wear these clothes outside in the street. They didn't wear these clothes outside when they were in the orchard or in the field. So he says that the big day Srod were begodim for the Levi, that the Levi wore special to them. It says, Vayasu et tzitz nezer HaKodesh Zov Tohor, the golden tzitz was the golden bar that the Kohen Gadol wore. And it said on it, Kodesh LaHashem. And it says that the word Hashem was written plural. Now, it's a small word. How many people could write that word at the same time? So there's an opinion that says there were 4 people who wrote it at the same time. That when one was writing the Yud, another was writing the Hey, another was writing the Vav, another was writing the Hey. So Hashem's name was being written simultaneously. The Gemara talked about a person who could hold 4 pens in his fingers and write Hashem's name at the same time. I don't know how you could do that. This is writing the Yud, this is writing the Hey, this is the Vav. They're all different movements, and he's doing it all at the same time. The Rav Moshe Sternbuch, he brings down from the Balei HaTosfos. First, the Balei HaTosfos. The Das Zakeni, Moshe Zakeni mi Balei HaTosfos, he says from Rabbi Yehuda HaChosid, very interesting halacha. He says, when you write a Sefer Torah, or Tefillin, or Mezuzahs, you write Hashem's name. And since writing Hashem's name is a Dovar Shebek Kedusha, it's a holy thing, and we only do things that are holy in a minyan. That means if you're davening by yourself, you don't say Kedusha, you don't say Kaddish, you don't say Borchu. The Vorim Shebek Kedusha, you only say in a minyan. So the Moshe Zakeni Mibali Atosos from Rabbi Yehuda Chosid says that when a sofer writes a Torah, Tefillin, and Mezuzah, it has to be with a minyan present. Now just think how much more expensive your Tefillin are going to be and the Mezuzah is going to be if there has to be 9 other people sitting in the room at the same time. Now you got to pay all the 9 people besides the sofer. So your prices, if the Mezuzah costs $60, will go up to $600. Okay, just be prepared for higher prices. So Rav Moshe Sternbuch discusses this, and he has an interesting idea. He says that there are many sofrim who, before they write Hashem's name, they go to the mikveh. Now that doesn't mean they go to the mikveh 55 times a day. That's crazy. They'll never get anything done. So what do? They go to the mikveh in the morning. And that's good for the whole day. So Rav Moshe Sternbuch says, maybe if the sofer goes to the minyan in the morning, and he davens shacharit in a minyan, that kedusha of the minyan stays with him for the entire day. And this way, he doesn't have to have a minyan when he writes. He can write it in his home, but it's like he wrote with a minyan. That's what Rav Moshe Sternbuch says. So I found that to be very, very interesting. That, it has to do with that particular item, that particular concept. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Purim, and then we'll talk about a little bit more of other things. Okay, the Gemara Megillah says, then we'll go into Vayikra. The Gemara Megillah says that Esther Beruach HaKodesh Nemro, that Megillat Esther was written with Ruach HaKodesh. What is Ruach HaKodesh?
The vine.
The vine. That means Hashem told them what to write. Because Esther was written with Ruach HaKodesh, it's part of Torah, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim. It's part of Tanakh. There's 24 books. Esther is one of them. By Hanukkah time, they didn't have Ruach HaKodesh anymore. So Megillat Chashmonaim or Megillat Antiochus, good evening, was not written with Ruach HaKodesh. It's not part of Tanakh. And that's why we don't read it on Hanukkah. But we read Megillat Esther on Purim. How many times do we read Megillat Esther on Purim? Twice. Once at night, once at the day. Got it.
In the morning.
So now the Shagas Aryeh says, how do we know that Esther was written in Beruch HaKodesh? The Gemara says there's two psukim. One pasuk says, "Vayivoda hadover laMordechai." Mordechai found out Haman's plans. How did he know? Haman is having a secret meeting with Achashverosh, and Mordechai hears about it. How did he hear about it? Must be Hashem told him. Ruach HaKodesh.
In dream, probably.
Not in a dream. Ruach HaKodesh, whatever that means. There's another pasuk that says, "Vayilbash Esther Malchus." Esther put on royalty. The Gemara says, what does it mean she put on royalty? She was fasting for 3 days. She could barely lift her head up. She put on Ruach HaKodesh, and the Ruach HaKodesh took her. So the Shagas Aryeh says, both these psukim only tell me that Mordechai and Esther had Ruach HaKodesh. How do we know they used the Ruach HaKodesh to write the Megillah? Maybe they had it, but they didn't use it. So he brings down from the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai, a nice Ashkenazi guy, right? Maybe not. Benayahu ben Yehoyada. He says something fascinating.